didn't get one last year. They didn't give them out.
Thank you very, very much just to everybody here for coming out this unusual afternoon on a cobblestone street in Lower Manhattan, celebrating
James Joyce.
Celebrating James Joyce, Bloomsday, and by the way, the party that we want to get the 23rd anniversary of this particular day. So, obviously, I like to really thank everybody for coming out. Everybody who participates in this every year, thank you so much. I want to acknowledge, in particular, Amy Maloney and Colin McCann. Maybe would occur to you, Gary over there in the like, because these are the stars of the show for me every year who just bring you back to this place where you can have a reading in the middle of Lower Manhattan. Sometimes we have construction, sometimes we have rain, sometimes maybe too much sun. It's a wonderful thing to be able to try and pull together down here. We will have live music, we will have lots of stuff going on today. We will have some World Cup soccer going on around. We have all this stuff going on, but at the end of the day, the readings will finish up, and I guess I'm going to be introducing Colin and Amy to that sort of that everything toward that end. I just want to say, happy Bloomsday. I want to thank all the staff. There's a lot of, every year, because of the time, we have a lot of new J1ers staff starting up on the street, and that's always it's a blessing to me to be able to introduce something of an anomaly. From
another one coming out.
Another one.
That's a great thing. So welcome to them. Welcome to all you guys.
This is my best movie.
And this party will continue all night until anybody wants to keep going. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Colin McCann.
Dan McDonald, thank you. Make sure you look after your waiters and waitresses. I was a J1er myself almost 40 years ago. I'm going to read to you from a section that takes place naturally.
There were 3 or 4 characters.
This is
the little artist. I gave him cotton one of his pieces of artwork. I still have notes on my desk. Oh, cool. That was a great day.
John Sutton. Yeah. I saw what he has to say hello to
The Citizen is really he's a little bit inward Irish nationalist who believed that Bloom is secretly won a bundle of money on throwaway horse.
I'm going to find a better place for my
Bloom
camera.
gets angry and then flees and ends up with a biscuit tin being thrown at him. But this is my favorite.
I might have one. I was thinking of having one. I'm not much of a
Great
drinker.
novel of the 20th century.
I have one of those, the smallest one you have. Guinness. Smallest one you got.
British Navy.
Or else you don't want to see me. I take airplanes down when I have more than 2.
The earth. The fellows that never will be slaves.
I miss you. I
The
just saw
only
you ending
hereditary
your speech.
chamber on the face of God's earth, and their land in the hands of a dozen game hogs and cotton ball barons.
Great to
The
see you,
great
kiddo.
empire they boast about of grudges and quick serfs, on which the sun never rises.
Man, I'm going to find a place for my camera.
And the
Oh,
tragedy
I'll be right
of it,
back.
says the citizen, the tragedy
Nothing else I can do these days.
They believe it. The unfortunate yahoos believe it. They believe in Rod, Scourger, Almighty, creator of hell upon earth, and in Jackie Tar, the son of a gun, who was conceived of unholy boast, born of the fighting navy, suffered under rump and dozen, was scarified, flayed and curried, yelled like bloody hell. The 3rd day he rose again from the bed, steered into heaven and sitted on his beam end till further orders, whence he shall come to drudge for a living and be paid. All you good Catholics know the rhythm of that one. But, says Bloom, isn't discipline the same everywhere? I mean, wouldn't it be the same here if you put force against force? Didn't I tell you? True as I'm sitting here drinking this porter, if he was at his last gasp, he'd be trying to downface you that dying was living. We'll put force against force, says the citizen. We have our greater Ireland beyond the sea. They were driven out of house and home in Black 47. Their mud cabins and their shielings by the roadside were laid low by the battering ram, and the Times rubbed its hands and told the white-livered Saxons that there would soon be as few Irish in Ireland as Redskins in America. Even the Grand Turk sent us his piastres. But the Sassenach tried to starve the nation at home while the land was full of crops that the British hyenas bought and sold in Rio de Janeiro. Aye, they drove out the peasants in hordes. 20,000 of them died in coffin ships. But those that came to the land of the free remember the land of bondage. And they will come again, and with a vengeance, no cravens, the sons of Granwalia, the champions of Kathleen ni Houlihan. Perfectly true, says Bloom, but my point was, we are a long time waiting for that day, citizen, says Ned, since the poor old woman told us that the French were on the sea and landed at Killala. Aye, says John Weiss, we fought the Royal Stuarts that reneged us against the Williamites, and they betrayed us. Remember Limerick and the broken treaty stone. We gave our best blood to France and Spain, the wild geese. Fontenay, eh? And Sarsfield, and O'Donnell, Duke of Teuton in Spain, and Ulysses Brown of Camus, that was Field Marshal to Maria Theresa. But what did we ever get for it? The French, says the citizen. Said a dancing masters. Do you know what it is? They were never worth a roasted fart to Ireland. They're playing Senegal right now. And it's 0-0. Come on, Senegal! Woo! Aren't they trying to make an entente cordiale now at Taipei's dinner party with perfidious Albion, firebrands of Europe, and they always were. Conspuez les Français, says Lenihan, nobbling his beer. And as for the Prussians and the Hanoverians, says Joe, haven't we had enough of those sausage-eating bastards on the throne, from George the Elector down to the German lad and the flatulent old bitch that's dead? Jesus. I had to laugh at the way he came out with that about the L1 with the winkers on her, blind drunk in her royal palace every night to God. Oh, Vic, with her jorum of Mountain Dew and her coachman carting up her body and bones to roll into bed, and she pulling him by the whiskers and singing him bits of old songs about Erin on the Rhine and come to where the booze is cheaper. Well, says JJ, we have Edward the Peacemaker now. Tell that to a fool, says the citizen. There's a bloody sight more pox than pax about that boyo. Edward Guelph Wetton. And what do you think, says Joe, what do you think of the holy boys, the priests and bishops of Ireland, doing up his room in Maynooth in his satanic majesty's racing colours and sticking up pictures of all the horses his jockeys rode? The Earl of Dublin, no less. Well, they ought to have stuck up all the women he rode himself, says little Alf. And says JJ, considerations of space influenced their lordship's decision. Will you try another? Citizen, says Joe. Yes, sir, says he, I will. You, says Joe. Beholden to you, Joe, says I, may your shadow never grow less. Repeat that dose, says Joe. And Bloom was talking and talking with John Weiss, and he quite excited with his dunduckety mud-coloured mug on him, and his old plum eyes rolling about. Persecution, says he. All the history of the world is full of it, perpetuating national hatred among nations. Ah, but do you know what a nation means? Says John Weiss. Yes, says Bloom. What is it? Says John Weiss. A nation, says Bloom. A nation is the same people living in the same place. My God, says Ned. Then, laughing, if that's so, I'm a nation, for I've been living in the same place for the past 5 years. So, of course, everyone had to laugh at Bloom, and says he, trying to muck out of it, are also living in different places. That covers me case, says Joe. What is your nation, if I may ask, says the citizen. Ireland, says Bloom. I was born here, Ireland. Thank you. Thank you so much. We have these, and we have some t-shirts at the end of it all, but one of the things, oh, Jesus, we just had somebody come along, and it came along to interrupt, we were about to finish, but, okay. A substitute for Senegal just arrived. He's going to do a little bit of what I just did. He'll do it far better than I did. After the substitute, we will have the centre forward, Aidan Maloney, come along. But 3 big cheers for Patrick!
Okay, I've got loads of tape. There's another one too about the...
Don't be fucking about and just get up here and do it. Come on. Sorry, excuse me.
Okay.
Balloon, he was up one time in a knacker's yard, walking about with his book and his pencil. Here's me head and me heels are coming, till Joe Cuff gave him the order of the boot for giving lip to a grazier. Mr. Know-all, teach your grandmother to suck eggs. 2, Terry, look slippery. If you fall, don't wait to get up. Pisser Burke was telling me when they were living up in the hotel, the wife used to be in rivers of tears sometimes, crying her eyes out, couldn't loosen her farting strings, but old Cod's Eye was waltzing around her, showing her how to do it. What's your programme today? Aye, gob, he'd have a soft hand under a hen. God almighty couldn't make him drunk. Slips off when the fun gets too hot. The prudent member. Standards a drink itself, divil a sweet fear. He's a perverted Jew from Hungary. And it was he drew up all the Sinn Féin plans according to the Hungarian system. It was Bloom gave the idea for Sinn Féin to Griffith. We know that in the castle. He's not as green as he's cabbage looking. One of those mixed middlings he is, lying up in the hotel, Pisser was telling me, once a month with headaches like a totty on her roses. Do you know what I'm telling you? What? Anyway, in struts the citizen. There he is, says I, working for the cause. Stand and deliver. That's all right, friends here, citizen, says I. Give it a name. Wine of the country. Drink that. This is where somebody's supposed to put a pint of Guinness in my hand, but every fucking... There you go. Wine of the country. Drink that. Oh, don't be talking. I was blue mouldy for the want of that point. Declare to God I could hear it click in the pit of me stomach. That Keogh Bennett boxing match, I heard so-and-so made a cool £100 over it. Blazes, aye, boiling. We know him, the traitor's son. We know what put English gold in his pocket. I hear he's running a concert tour now, up in the north. He is, isn't he, says I. Who? Yes, that's quite true. Yes, a kind of a summer tour, just a holiday. And Mrs. B is the bright particular star, isn't she? My wife, she's singing, yes. We've all the top knobbers, J.C. Doyle and John McCormack, I hope. All the best, in fact. I think it will be a success too. It's a good idea, you see. He's an excellent man to organise. Excellent. Oh, big gob, says I to myself, says I. That explains the milk in the coconut and the absence of hair on the animal's chest and the lasers doing the tootle on the flute. Concert tour, that's the bucko that'll organise her, my Irish Molly. Irish? I don't know, Faith. Is she not Irish enough? From the rock of Gibraltar all the way, there grew she to peerless beauty, where no quaff and almonds scent the air. The gardens of the Alameda knew her step, the Ghats of olives knew and bowed. How did that Canada swindle case go off? One of the bottle notes fraternity it was put an ad in the paper saying he'd give a passage to Canada for 20 bob. What? Do you see any green in the white of my eye? Course it was a bloody Barney. Remanded. Remanded. They're nice things coming over here to Ireland, filling the country with bugs. We want no more strangers in our house. Our own fault. We let them come in. We brought them here. A dishonoured wife. That's what's the cause of all our misfortune. 1169, Dearville O'Rourke and Dermot Natmora, the adulteress, and her paramour brought the Saxon robbers here. And Bloom letting on to be awfully deeply interested in nothing. Horn of a bull, hoof of a horse, smile of a Saxon, Sinn Féin a wine, the friends we love are by our sides, and the foes we hate before us. And Bloom giving it the moderation and the botheration. But their colonies and their civilization. Their civilization, you mean? The curse of a good-for-nothing god light sideways in the bloody thick-lugged sons of ghosts. No music and no art and no literature worthy of the name. Any civilization they have, they stole from us. Tongue-tied sons of bastards, ghosts. They're not European. I was in Europe with Kevin Egan of Paris, and where our 20 millions of Irish should be here today instead of 4, our lost tribes, and our potteries, and our textiles that were the finest in the whole world, our damask from the looms at Antrim, and our Limerick lace, our tanneries and our white flint glass. What do the Yelly Johns of Anglia owe us for our ruined trade and our ruined hearts? Save them. The giant ash of Galway and the chieftain elm of Kildare with a 40-foot bole and an acre of foliage. Save the trees of Ireland for the future men of Ireland on the fair hills of Era. Oh, Maya! All wind and piss like a tan-yard cat. The French set of dancing masters. Do you know what it is? They were never worth a roasted fart to Ireland. Persecution. All the history of the world is full of it. Perpetuating hatred among nations. But do you know what a nation means? Yes? What is it? A nation? A nation is the same people living in the same place. By God then, if that's true, I'm a nation, for I'm living in the same place for the past 5 years. Or otherwise living in other places. In that case, he's a nation. And what is your nation, may I ask? Ireland. I was born here. Ireland. The citizen said nothing, only cleared the spit out of his gullet and gob! He let a spit out of a right bank oyster out of him right in the corner of the bar. And I belong to a race too that is hated and persecuted, taking what belongs to us by right at this very moment, sold by auction off in Morocco like slaves or cattle. Are you talking about the new Jerusalem? I'm talking about injustice. Right, stand up to it then, with force like men. But it's no use. Force, hatred, history, all that, that's not life for men and women, insult and hatred. And everybody knows that it's the very opposite of that that is really life. What? Love. I mean, the opposite of hatred. I must go now. And who's hindering you? 3 cheers for Israel! Hip hip! Sit down on the parliamentary side of your arse and don't be making a public expedition of yourself. After man in the moon was a Jew. Mendelssohn was a Jew. And Karl Marx. And Spinoza. And the Saviour was a Jew. Your God. Whose God? Your God was a Jew. Christ was a Jew, like me. Your fly is open. People could put up with being bitten by a wolf, but what properly riled them was a bite from a sheep. Your God was a Jew, because mostly they appeared to imagine he came from Carrick-on-Shannon, or someplace else in the county Sligo. By Jesus, I'll brain that bloody Jew man for using the holy name. Give us that biscuit box there. Oh, by Jesus, I'll crucify him, so I will. Did I kill him or what? Mercy of God, the sun was in his eyes or he'd have left him for dead. Oh, Jesus, he would. When lo, they came about them all a great brightness, and there came a voice out of heaven calling, Elijah! Elijah! And he answered in a main voice, Abba Adonai. And they beheld him, even him, Ben Bloom Elijah, amid clouds of angels ascend to the glory of the brightness at an angle of 45 degrees over Dunhouse in Little Green Street like a shot of a shuttle.